This is ThinkTech Hawaii. Community matters here.
Aloha, and welcome to Hawaii Food Informer Series. I'm your host today, Matt Johnson, and as always, we are talking to Hawaii's movers and shakers in Hawaii's local food economy. So, as always, you can join the conversation by tweeting in at ThinkTechHI, and you can also check out the show later on our YouTube channel. So with us today, we have Meli James from Manu Up. Meli, thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, let's just jump right in because we have a lot to talk about.
I know.
So tell us, what is Manu Up?
So Manu Up is an economic development initiative helping to build a $5 billion product industry here in Hawaii. So what we do is work with product entrepreneurs. We have very specific criteria for the types of entrepreneurs and small business that we do work with. So, you know, looking at innovation and entrepreneurship in Hawaii, we're looking at how do we broaden what that does look like to include small business, to include products, and looking at what are competitive advantages that we can take advantage of because it is so hard to do business in Hawaii. We believe that one of our biggest competitive advantages is the brand of Hawaii. And so we look at products that reflect that brand. So how do you leverage that brand in the consumer packaged goods arena? So looking at retail products, value-add food products, as well as health and beauty. So in order to come through our program, it's an accelerator that's 13 weeks. We host 2 a year, and it has to be, you know, CPG product. It has to be headquartered in Hawaii. Has to have a minimum annual revenue of $100,000. Has to be looking at scaling. So you know you're kind of cruising around a certain level, and you're really ready to start getting into global markets. And again, leveraging the brand of Hawaii in some way.
Wow, you're really good at packaging that pitch. That's
Are
fantastic. Yeah. I think you've answered about all the questions. Nah. So give us an example. What are some of the products that you're working with?
Yeah, so let's see. Cohort 1, we launched in November of this year, and they graduated in April. We had 10 companies, all 10 of which had an agricultural component as part of their product mix.
Cool.
Meaning they were growing or sourcing a raw material from the islands in their product. So 9 of the 10 companies were food focused. We had Kohana Rum, which has the largest conservation of native Hawaiian sugarcane in the world, and their farm is out in Kunia.
Wait, say it again. The largest concentration of
conservation of native Hawaiian sugarcane.
Oh, wow.
So when we think about sugarcane back with CNH days, the sugarcane that we were seeing in these like thousands of acres of fields were actually sugarcane that wasn't native Hawaiian. It wasn't a canoe plant because that strain of sugarcane was, I think, from Puerto Rico. Don't quote me on that, although I'm on TV. That yielded the most sugar. So it made sense to grow that particular strain. So when Kohana Rum was thinking about creating their agricole rum, they worked with UH. They were actually going into people's backyards with permission, of course, and finding these like long lost strains. And I think they found 33 native Hawaiian strains of sugarcane that were like many times almost extinct. There's actually even a pink sugarcane. It looks pink. If you go to their farm in Kunia, they have a beautiful rum tasting. You can go into their area where they have all the different strains and look at one that's actually pink.
Wow. Right on.
So we also
drinking rum and also checking out the sugarcane.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I was just saying pink because I was drinking rum, but I'm pretty sure it was pink.
Yeah.
So another company is Kunoa Cattle. And they've got their ranch out in Campbell Industrial Park, and of course their ranch also in Kauai. They have the only USDA certified slaughterhouse on Oahu, and they have wonderful sustainable beef production. So our interest with them, because our companies have to be able to be exported, the products, so having a minimum of 6 months shelf life.
Okay. So
we're not talking about live cuts, or not live, you know, slabs of meat that need to be refrigerated. Our interest with them was their beef bars and their beef jerky that they're also creating with their beef, which is obviously great for export and a value-add food product from the islands. Let's see, another one. We had a natural deodorant called Mama Lani. And so she was sourcing raw material, different lavender and other botanicals and stuff from the islands as part of her product mix. She was featured in Allure magazine, and if you were a woman, that would be very impressive to you. I'm
still impressed.
Okay, thanks. the top 10 beauty products. So that's called Mama Lani, and she's a wonderful Native Hawaiian female founder. What's interesting about a lot of our founders, we have quite a few women. So in our cohorts, we've had 21 portfolio companies so far with Cohort 1 and Cohort 2. 9 of them are female CEOs.
Wow,
which is
great.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got, what other products? Let's keep going here.
Well, we can dig into that later. Talk a little bit about the program. So you call it an Accelerator Program, and it seems to be a pretty popular trend right now. What does that mean? So let's say I have a product and I meet the criteria that you're talking about, and then I'm accepted into the program. What happens then?
So we have a very specific start and end date. So we normally meet, most of our companies, as they are revenue generating, have fully functioning businesses with an office. They've got customers. So some accelerator programs are kind of an all day, every day, where companies are coming in and working at the office. We really condense our program into one very heavy afternoon and evening. So on Tuesdays, we meet at 1:30 and have workshops. Resources come in and give talks as to how to access, additional resources that have existed in Hawaii, even of course before Manu Up, that a lot of entrepreneurs don't realize in layman's terms, like, how does this actually help me? And so it's been wonderful. We've got partners in the resource area, like the Mink Center for Business and Leadership, the Foreign Trade Zone, Pacific Export Council, American Job Center, and really, like, what are these actual resources doing to help? And they absolutely are. It's just, for a lot of times, it just takes someone to come in and say, hey, this is how we actually could help you. And they're like, oh my God, can we sign up? So that's kind of neat. Then we have different speakers coming in that are anywhere from skills building workshops, like we had Shopify fly in from Canada and do kind of a week long of workshops with our companies and office hours.
And Shopify is an online payment gateway marketplace? Yeah,
Shopify is basically the largest online e-commerce platform. So for the most part, anytime you're on an online shop that is even someone's website, normally it's kind of it's powered by Shopify.
Okay.
So they've got a lot of bells and whistles, a lot of help, and a lot of ways that you can help people get more savvy with online shopping. And they came out to work with our teams. So some of it's skills based, but some of it's also leadership. We had Josh Feldman, CEO of Tory Richard, who obviously built a great company right here in Hawaii. Come in and talk story with the companies. Mark Tyra, who's the CEO of King's Hawaiian Sweetbread, how they got started here in Hawaii. And so lots of different speakers that come in. We always do Kohana afterwards.
Of course.
Because, part of it, not only do we just enjoy Kohana anyway, but also kind of the magic within an accelerator is the people going through it together. So the 10 companies going through this process with each other. And for many times, they're actually helping each other out. And they're realizing, hey, a couple of us are all still sourcing sugar from this other place. Why don't we do a pallet together? And it all kind of comes from people being in the same room, going through something at the same time, and realizing that they can help each other.
Yeah, a lot of times the entrepreneurs are by themselves a lot and trying to figure out how to get their business up and going. So yeah, just having that network, I'm sure, is fantastic for them. And
we've seen tons of collaborations. So a lot of the companies are actually collaborating. We had Hawaiian Pie Company collaborate with Kunoa Cattle, and they're doing like a beef pot pie.
Nice.
We had Manoa Chocolate collaborate with the rum again, doing this kind of a rum chocolate. So it's been really neat to just see all these friendships forming and collaborations, which we love to see as well.
Yeah, and it's also really, I think, profound too, because a lot of times when people are starting a food product in Hawaii, maybe they're not necessarily thinking about trying to export outside of Hawaii. So that's really a focus of what you guys are trying to do is, how do you scale up? So instead of products coming into Hawaii, products coming out of Hawaii. What's kind of different about that, or what do you see that maybe local businesses aren't the way they're thinking or what they're doing? Like, what's that slight difference of what businesses need to do or be thinking about?
Yeah, that's a great question. So that's one of the biggest challenges that we've seen consistently with our entrepreneurs is mindset. And how do we get into that mindset shift that we can grow multi-million-dollar companies right here in Hawaii? We've got amazing, beautiful, quality products that are authentic. And we're seeing some trends happening globally, especially with millennials, around authenticity and connection to culture. People are flipping over the package. who's the founder? Where is this actually from? What are the ingredients? What's the story behind this?
Yeah.
And I think that wasn't as much the case 5 or 10 years ago, and it's absolutely the case now.
Yeah.
So as you think about authentic products, you think about our entrepreneurs that are based here creating these beautiful products. Right now is the time. And how do we get that mindset shift to think about growing globally right here? That staying mom and pop is awesome, and if that's providing for you and your family and that's what you want to do, awesome. It's just not a right fit for our program. But the entrepreneurs that do want to grow globally, to expand into global markets, that's what we're helping them do. So we're helping them solve scaling challenges, which is why we do have revenue minimums in order to get into the program. This isn't, hey, we're still tinkering and trying to figure out people like our stuff. You know, you've got customers, people are buying your stuff, and you're ready to really scale. So whether that's a manufacturing challenge, packaging, narrative, you know, finance, whatever those various challenges may be, each company is very unique, which is why a lot of our program is around curated mentor introductions as opposed to just this baseline workshops where everyone's going through the same thing.
Right.
So of course everyone is going through the Tuesday workshops, which is 1:30 to 7:30 or something like that.
With the Kohana.
With the Kohana, yeah.
Required attendance.
Required attendance. But also the curated mentor introductions is a really big piece. We also do check-ins with the teams.
So you're connecting, obviously, based on the business and learning more about them and what their needs are, then with your network and your team's network, you try to connect them with a specific resource.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah.
Cool, right on. Now that's exciting. Now, I don't think we have too much time before the break, but so you have an upcoming showcase I want to make sure we have enough time for you to talk about. So yeah, talk about so this is a Cohort 2 showcase. Yeah, talk a little bit about that. And I think we have a flyer right on cue showing up on the screen.
Well.
Yeah.
So Cohort 2, 11 companies that are graduating from our program. We started in August, and November 2nd, Friday at DFS in Waikiki. So it's actually kind of fun that we're doing it there. Cohort 1 was at SALT, which we loved. It was so much fun, the barn.
Yeah, I was there. That was
which
fun.
was awesome.
Yeah.
But really, people are asking us, oh, why are you doing a DFS? And we're just thrilled to be having it there.
Because what is DFS? That's like a...
Duty-free.
Duty-free, okay.
Yeah. Duty-free. It's on the corner of Lures and Kalakaua. Huge department store. They have everything there, and it's beautiful. And we're thrilled to be hosting it there because it really is capturing this essence of these quality Hawaii products that are from here, elevating to global markets. And what better place is an example of that than DFS?
Wow. Right on. That seems like a fun, Pauhana type event as well.
Well, there'll be there'll be cocktails and poo-poos and stuff like that, but it's also a pitch event. So there'll be a marketplace where you can taste, if it's a food product, of course, and purchase. And then also be able to shop at DFS, and you'll get a 20% discount letter that you can go shopping. But then also there's a pitch component. So each company will be doing a 3-minute product pitch and then doing like a short Q&A. So it's about, people love supporting local products, but how do we support the entrepreneur and the business behind the product? And that's really what Manu Up is about, and also what you'll get to see when you come to the showcase and really hear about their business during their pitches.
Oh, fantastic. I can't wait. Unfortunately, we have to take a quick break, so we'll be back in 1 minute, and we'll be right here.
This is ThinkTech Hawaii, raising public awareness.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Gabrieli. I'm the host for Young Talents Making Way here on ThinkTech Hawaii. We talk every Tuesday at 11 a.m. about things that matters to tech, matter to science, to the people of Hawaii, with some extraordinary guests, the students of our schools who are participating in Science Fair. So Young Talents Making Way every Tuesday at 11 a.m. only on ThinkTech Hawaii. Mahalo.
Aloha and welcome back to Hawaii Food and Farmer Series. I'm your host, Matt Johnson, and we're here with Meli James, so we're going to jump right back into it. So Meli, you were just talking about the upcoming Manu Up Cohort 2 showcase on November 2nd at DFS in Waikiki.
Yes.
Well, give us some more details. So if someone's interested in attending, how do they go about doing that?
So they can go to our website at manuuphawaii.com and get tickets there. And again, there'll be pitches, there'll be a marketplace, there'll be a party, we've got a bar and poo-poos.
Oh, wow.
So it starts at 4:30 or when doors open, and
Okay.
then the event goes till 8 or 9, something like that. We've got a DJ and all that fun
Oh,
stuff.
wow, fancy.
Yeah.
Cool.
So if you're looking for early holiday shopping, it's a perfect time.
Yeah.
So not only do we have our 11 companies that are graduating from Cohort 2, we have 6 or 7 from Cohort 1 who will also be participating.
Oh, that's probably a good time. I think we have a picture of Cohort 1 that we could check out on the camera. There it is.
Woo!
Yes, that is Cohort 1, correct?
Yep, Cohort 1.
Cool. And this was may have been at the first showcase.
Yes, this was on stage after they all finished pitching, and they were very happy to be done with that part.
Yeah, that's always a very intense thing to do, especially in kind of a larger crowd like that.
Yeah, so we're expecting a lot of people. We had about 700 people at our showcase last time. We're expecting about the same this time, if not larger.
Wow.
Which is why we're in a larger space, but it's going to be a great party, a great shopping experience, and we hope that people can come.
Yeah, fun, right on. So I definitely want to take a little bit of time to talk a little bit about yourself. So how did you, Meli James, get into Manu Up? What was that motivation or inspiration for that program, and what was your background before?
So my entrepreneurial, I started my entrepreneurial journey in 2007 when I was living in San Francisco and started my first company, which was in the wine world. It was became the #1 wine app on the iTunes store. And it was a crazy ride for quite some time, and started a couple other companies in the kind of mobile world. And then in 2012, I moved back to Hawaii to help contribute to an innovation ecosystem here in Hawaii. And I wasn't quite sure what that meant, but I'd been living in San Francisco for 11 years and really loved startup and loved what I was doing. And I wanted to see if I could do it here and help contribute. And, early things started happening right around then. Ray Chung had just started Box Jelly. We had our first startup, the co-working space, in Kaka'ako. We had our first startup weekend happening. And so it was kind of an interesting time. So I moved back. And quickly thereafter, got scooped up by Blue Startups and joined Hank Rogers and Shenandoah Farnsworth in the first accelerator to get launched in Hawaii. So, really had been more on the tech side of things. I think innovation is a big piece of, and tech is a big piece of innovation, but it's not the only piece of innovation, entrepreneurship. And that was one of the things I was really looking at, is broadening how we view innovation and entrepreneurship in Hawaii. Hawaii really was built on entrepreneurship, especially as a woman or as a minority. If you wanted to get ahead, you had to start your own business. And so looking at how hard it is to do business in Hawaii, looking at what could make sense for Hawaii, how do we look at a regional strength or competitive advantage? And I started thinking about the brand of Hawaii and what did that mean? If you started a tech company that was called Mahalo, does that mean anything? Maybe not. But really in the product arena and looking at tourism being on the rise, looking at ag happening with sugarcane and pineapple no longer, what does the next 150 years look like for Hawaii? And started to kind of piece together what could this look like to layer what I had learned on the accelerator side of things, what I had learned as an entrepreneur myself in this other area that was more small business focused, more product focused, more consumer focused. And looking at e-commerce really being a game changer for Hawaii, where you don't have to be on every shelf in every store on the mainland. You can focus on e-commerce, and that really does level the playing field. So that's kind of where it all started for me. I then, as I was just beginning to start thinking about what could this look like, I met my co-founder, Brittany Hyde, who had been living in DC. She's a co-founder of 1776, which was a global incubator and venture fund based out of DC. And she met and married a Maui boy and moved back to Hawaii. Within a week, we had met each other and started chatting and really liked each other. And
meant to be.
Yeah, it was kind of meant to be. And we kind of formulated what Manu Up could be and really created the components and started going out trying to fundraise to get this thing started.
Right on. That's exciting.
Thank you.
It seems to kind of like, I like how you were in tech, but then you were in wine before, so now you're kind of merging that all together, your different experiences with an Accelerator Program. So talk a little bit about, where do you see Manu Up going from here? Are you just going to continue with new cohorts? Another question I have too is, do you feel that, are there enough companies out there that you think are going to be able to qualify, or the kind of companies that you're looking for? Like when you're putting out your applications for companies, are you being inundated with applications? What's your vibe now with that, now that you're getting ready to wrap up with your second cohort?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good question.
We ask the tough questions on this show.
I'd say for the future, when we started this, we were very open to knowing, as any entrepreneur does, that you have to pivot, and we would just be taking information in, and maybe some things are going to work and maybe they're not. So we've been learning a ton this first year. And some things have shifted, and some things have surprised us. We've been thrilled to see local corporations really getting behind what Manu Up is. Kamehameha Schools is our title partner, and they actually came on as our first partner, which was wonderful to see. And quickly after, we had Hawaiian Airlines come on, American Savings Bank, Ulupono Initiative, HTDC, Innovate Hawaii, and the list now continues to grow. Kaiser Permanente just joined as well. Wow. Really looking at healthy Hawaii. What does that mean? It also means an economic healthy Hawaii too. So we absolutely will be hosting another cohort, 2 more cohorts next year.
Cool.
And we have been not inundated. I would say we've had a lot of applicants, and a lot of people, when I first started this with Brittany, were saying, "Are you sure this is like a lot of criteria? You're not going to have anybody apply. This is like a lot of stuff you're requiring." I was like, "Well, we'll see what comes in." We had 85 applicants come in for our first cohort, and it was all just word of mouth. We did not exist before this, which was amazing. We selected the 10 companies from that application base. Our second cohort, we had 73 applicants.
Wow.
So I think we've got a lot of potential interest or potential companies coming in. And we're very much about continuing the pipeline. And that's why we also do a lot of community workshops and community work. So like if we have a speaker coming in, like when Shopify came in, we're not just going to have Shopify working with our companies. We had a community workshop where it was open to the community to come. It was free. And actually, no, I think it was $10 just as a,
Got to cover the food and
well,
make sure people really want to be there.
Yeah, I mean, it was nominal.
Yeah.
But having that open so that we are building pipeline, so that these companies that maybe aren't quite at some of the threshold can continue to build their skills and build resources, so that the next time around for applications, they're hitting the criteria and they can come into the program. So in terms of your question of where we see it going, we see so many doors opening, even from additional sales channels that we're able to open, and also just starting that conversation, especially in the community, and looking at these are great quality products of Hawaii, and we want to see them scale and grow. What does that mean for our economy, from a job perspective, from a revenues perspective, and also how can our corporations here in Hawaii start supporting that? How can we be supporting? We're looking at tourism. So many dollars are spent here, many of which are exported. We always talk about, all the money's exported from tourism. Where is it actually helping the community? If we start actually having tourists buying local products, it's a lot more economic impact as opposed to other stuff that's not based here. So I think it's really opening that door and that conversation to how can we help tourism make sense for Hawaii, and really embrace it as a way that is helping our economy. And also looking at connecting these dots. We've got this lots of acres of farmland, diversified agriculture. A lot of it is local production for local consumption, but a lot of it could be towards value-add products that can command that higher price point, because people do pay more for something with Hawaii. It's a globally loved brand. People save their whole life to come here. People actually never even do come here, but they buy stuff that has something to do with Hawaii because it sells. And we're seeing this shift with a lot of the department stores, even Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom, where they have these 8.5 by 11 features of the entrepreneurs and highlighting local products. And they're not doing this only for altruistic reasons. They're doing it because it sells. And again, that is different than 5 or 10 years ago, where you could go into any store and just pick something up as a souvenir and it wasn't as much of a focus. So we're seeing this shift. We're seeing these conversations happening. We're seeing, our companies working with farmers saying, hey, I'll buy, if you grow cacao, I'll buy all of it.
Yeah.
And how we can start working together to really make this work for Hawaii.
Yeah. That is a neat model you're talking about, and I know like with like Shakati, which was in Cohort 1.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, they weren't in Cohort 1.
They weren't
but
in Cohort.
Bella and Harrison are good friends.
Or just good partners of
Yes,
the.
great partners.
We like to say at the Wahoo Food Hub, we helped start their business. They're one of our first tenants in there. But similar to what they're talking about with Mamaki Tea, where they built this tea product, and now they're in a tough position where now they need more raw product. So that's interesting, where you're starting to see more of a pull from the value add product side back to the farms. Have you? I mean, I know you guys are just kind of getting started first year, but are you seeing that dynamic happening? Is that looking positive in the sense of you're talking about you have the chocolate companies looking for more cacao. We have companies like Shakati looking for more maki. Are you seeing a response from the growing side?
We're seeing a response in that we're in talks with a lot of entities that are helping farmers, and they're talking about some of the challenges that they're having, and so we are starting to connect those dots, saying, hey, we have companies that will buy all the product and pay good dollar for it because these are value add products, right? Because they're able to command that higher price point. So it all kind of becomes, again, Hawaii is challenging to do business. We have certain things here that are unique. But the good thing is the brand of Hawaii is strong, and we can command a higher price point because people are interested, they're willing to pay more, and right now is that time. So those conversations are starting to happen, and we're starting to see entities coming together saying, hey, we've got the farmers, they're looking to grow more things. What do you guys want? And so those are, I think that's a great first step.
Yeah, and it's great that you guys are kind of part of that conversation where it makes a lot more sense if you have a product or a business that you're working with, and then going back to farm, or even to large landowners like Kamehameha Schools that have that land and they're trying to figure out what to do with their ag land as well.
Yeah, so if you have farmers that are watching the show right now, definitely reach out to me if you are interested in growing other products that may be value add and want to pair up with a company that's already producing these products. We'd love to talk to you.
Fantastic. So unfortunately, we're running out of time. One last question. Do you have a Halloween costume yet?
I do. It's a genie costume, but it doesn't really fit me very well. So it may shift.
Okay. Well, we still have a little bit of time to kind of work out the kinks.
What about you, Matt?
I'm supposed to go as Mark Maron from the show Glow.
Whoa.
Do you know the show where it's all like the women wrestling league, and then there's like the manager guy?
Oh my God, is that why you're growing a mustache?
Yeah. But yeah, I'm also not convinced on this either. I think I want to be the wrestler. The wrestler is a much better costume.
Yeah,
so maybe I'll go as a female wrestler. Meli, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks, Matt.
And we'll have you back on again. Yeah. Thank you once again with Hawaii Food and Farmer Series, and we will be back here 2 weeks from now where Stephanie will be your host. Aloha.